Before we continue on the if-else statement and nested if statement, let's go talk a little bit about the relational operator. What is a relational operator? If you remember in the previous example that we did, we said if x score greater than 89, then go through the path A, this path, and for example display you got excellent score or you got an A grade. If the score is this condition, this Boolean expression right here, which is X stand for a score and Y stand for 89, if that condition is not true, go through this path and said you didn't get a display to the output, you didn't get a grade. Now this operator greater sign right here, this is, we call it a relational operator. Greater than sign is a relational operator, less than sign is a relational operator, and greater or equal, there is no space between these two operators. This operator greater or equal, and there is no space between these two. There is no space. See, if one character, next character, and should not be any space. If you're putting a space between this operator with combination of the greater and equal, we call it greater or equal relational operator. Combination of less than equal, we call it less than or equal operator. They are not two operators, they are single. And two equal next to each other, we stand for equal operator. If you remember a single operator equal, we use that one to assign a number to a variable. And this combination of this option, we call it not equal operator. Okay, let's do an example on the relational operator. Let's consider I pull up the same example that we had. It was the average score. Let me change this one. I change this one to public class operator. This is the file name that I have it on my JGrasp. And right here, as you remember, we said this is the frame, this is the setup, this portion, and right here I have a variable x and y. If you notice in right here, we start to declaring a variable and use a comma, separate that one and put the y. So it means create a variable memory location for my variable x and my variable y, and we separate these two variables with the comma. So instead of we gonna say double x semicolon double y semicolon, we can say double x comma y comma z as many number of the variable that you have. And as before, we have the string input right here. Right here we gonna having a pop-up dialog box, and dialog box we gonna enter x value. When we enter the x value, we're gonna store it as a string in the input variable, which is a string right here. And then we're gonna take the input string and asking to use a double, parse it and convert it to the integer, convert it to a double data type. So we're gonna convert the x, the input, from a string to a double x. Then we're gonna do the same thing again. This time we're gonna say enter the y, and when you entering the y value, you store it to the input string data type, and then we asking again to convert that input string data type to a double data type and store it in the variable y. Now we're going to try to use our if statement. We're going to say if the enter value x greater than y, display a dialog box and show the value of the x concatenated with this greater sign and plus concatenated with the y. So you're going to put, for example, if I put 4 and 6, you're going to put 4 greater than 6, and then if also you're going to display this one, that the 4, by the way, is not equal to y. Let's try this example. It's the same example in the JGrasp compiler. Let me increase the size of this window. So okay, and you will see right here that we did the same variable, same format, same structure, And the only thing, the new that we have right here in this video is going to be that I put multiple variable with the same data type and separate those variable with the comma separator. The second thing that we have a new in this video is going to be that we are having a variable x, which is this x right here, and we have a variable y, which is right here, this y right here, and we using concatenating these two variables with the greater sign, less than sign, equal sign, and not equal sign. So the same thing that as we said in the slide. Let's go compile and run this example. The compilation is successful. Doesn't show me any error. Let me show you in the screen that no error in the compilation. Let's move it back down again, and now let's go ahead and run it. Now I ran it, it's going to display this dialog box, and this dialog box come up from right here. Enter X number. Let's consider I'm going to put in 50. When I put the 50, it's going to take the value 50, put him in the input string as a string, and then parse this string to a double variable X right here. And then go to the next one, and it's supposed to display, after I click OK, it's supposed to display for me a show input dialog box again and enter Y. Let's try that one. And as you're going to see, I did that one, and you're going to ask enter Y, which is this one. And I'm going to put in what? 60. Now you're going to take the 60 right here and store it in input string again. And then we're asking, okay, take that value out of the input and convert it to a variable, to a double data type Y. And now after I click right here, it's supposed to go to this decision list. Let's try this one, and now it's supposed to go to the decision maker. The first one is going to say 50 less than 60, which is this option right here. If x less than y, which is 50 less than 60, so it's going to pop up this window and display, and it's going to say 50 less than 60. Now let's see, is any other scenario is possible. Is 50 equal to 60? No. Is 50 not equal to 60? Yes. So it's supposed to display this dialog box. If I click OK, it's going to trace down. It cannot go through this if statement, but it can go through this statement and execute this action. Let's try that one. And exactly, it's going to say right here, 50 not equal to 60. Although we can write a statement for greater or equal or less than equal in our if statement right here, and it may also having two more options right here, but I try to just show you how you can execute a if statement with relational operator. This is another example right here. So you're going to see x greater, x less than, x greater equal, less than equal, and different form of the Boolean expression. So each of this scenario we call it a Boolean expression. For example, right here, this if statement, this if greater than y, it could be true. If it's true, it go to this example, to this display. If it's false, it pass it by and won't do any action. Again, this is a Boolean expression. If this condition is true, you're going to execute this one. And as we see before, as we saw before, also we could have if statement and if else statement. We try to have more example in nested if statement. Next slide. We spoke about how to use the number and compare to number, but in this slide I try to work with the character and find out how the character, we can manipulate the character and use the character inside our program. Here is the example. I declare a variable a string name, then I write here, I use a dialog box to display a character, enter a character, and when you entering the character, because you're using the dialog box and entering the character, let me go ahead test this example before I explain it a little bit more to you. It's okay, I know this right here. See, I declare a string name right here, and I assign that one when you entering a character right here, at this dialog box, you're going to take that character and put him right here in the variable name. So assign the output of the dialog box to the variable name. Because the name is a string data type and a string is a combination of one or more characters. Let's consider this is a string that I put a and then you're going to follow up by some other character like that one. So if you're noticing that the a is at the position 0, this is the end of the line position 1, and maybe some null character. These are from right here, and after they are non-printable character. But when I put a character a on the string, this character a right here, when I read him, when I put him right here, I'm putting on a name, and name is a string. A string is a memory variable which can hold more than one character, a, b, c, d, 1, 4, 9, whatever. Any combination of the character and a string or number. Now, when I try to find out what is the located on the first position of that string, so I'm going to say take the string and look at the chart at the position 0, which is this one, and if that one is equal to character a, then execute this message. If the character at that position is not equal to a, display this position, display this message, not position, display this message. Let's try this example. Here is the example right here, and as you're going to see that I put the same program, and we said okay, if the character that enter is equal to a, display this message. If the character that is equal at the position of the first string name, the 0 position, if it is not equal to a, display that undefined grade. So let's go ahead, compile this example. The compilation, as you're going to see, successful, no problem. Let's go ahead back and run this example. And when we run the example now, it's dependent. If I put the character uppercase A and I press enter, you're going to say excellent, this one. Let's go ahead, try this one more time and run it this time. And let's put the character B, because we didn't set anything about the B, only we spoke about the character A, and the output is undefined, display the else portion. This example, it doesn't matter if any character that I input and that character is not properly defined in this in my code, it won't accept it. For example, the lowercase a. Here I'm going to put lowercase a. Lowercase a is undefined right here. We're only talking about the uppercase a, and when I'm going to click on that one, you're going to say this is undefined.